Hey Stickies!
Welcome back to the Stick with Kaji Podcast. I'm Luann Kaji. You can follow me on Instagram. It's up. I cannot figure out the screen here.
This way. And I'm Sean Kaji. How you guys doing? I don't have any Instagram just yet.
So if you guys don't know, we're the parent of Ryan from Ryan's World. Today, I have a very important topic to talk about.
It's going to be a pretty heavy topic today because we've been always talking about the good thing about YouTube, right? Doing YouTube in a family. This episode, we're going to talk about the other side of the spectrum. We're going to talk about cons of doing YouTube. We have faced some difficulties as we're taking this journey of doing YouTube as a family. And we're going to talk more in detail in this episode. What we have experienced in the past before that it was really challenging to us, and see if we can find the solution for those people who's starting out the new YouTube channels, and maybe we can give them some advice.
Yeah, but first, I just want to announce, if you guys haven't already, we are having our first virtual Ryan's FanFest on November 27th. You can go to ryansfanfest.com to check it out. It's up there, or also the link down here. We're very excited. We've been working really hard on it. So hopefully see you there. Hopefully in the future we'll actually be in person, but it's the best we can do. So yeah, come. It's a free virtual event, fun for the whole family.
Yeah, we've been spending hours and hours creating it, and we've been promoting it too on this episode, these past couple episodes. But yeah, we're very excited for you guys to attend, and it's free, So join us, and very interactive. Kids can do coloring along with us and some other activities that we prepare for them. So yeah, very excited to have you guys.
So now let's stick to today's topic, which is what happened when your channel becomes more successful. What does it feel like, as a creator, when you receive your first big backlash or controversy, something that, at least for me or for us, we didn't think that we will face, or maybe you will know eventually you will face, but until you're actually in that moment, you're not really prepared for what's going to happen.
And a lot of times, only takes like a few negative comments to affect you, right? When there's a good comment, keeps you happy. But then even just seeing just one bad comment, and then you just start thinking about it all day, every day, thinking about why you get such a comment. So it's like us too. We've been always getting such a positive comments because our viewers are kids and they all love our content. But every now and then we receive some negative ones. Right. Yeah,
people always say you have to have thick skin to put yourself online, because even though you would get like 99% of really positive comments, I think it's human nature to just focus on that 1%, of comment that doesn't like you for whatever reason. Some of them are valid criticism, but, a lot of them are not very valid. They can just criticize on things that, to me, it didn't really matter, like the way you look, or, they didn't like your hair that you did that day. So it's hard, I think, for a lot of creators to distinguish what is a valid criticism, what's not, because either way, I think it affects them, because they don't know, right?
Yeah, and I normally don't have a habit of putting any criticism online. I usually, when I have any negative comments or negative thoughts toward any certain videos or creators, I really usually don't put anything on that. So but yeah, I think some people really use those platforms to kind of release their stress also, right? That's why a lot of times when there's a negative context, it gravitates more people than usual.
But, I do have to say that because we live in America, I do love that we have freedom of speech, and the fact that you can voice your opinion without having to worry. So I do like that, and I do appreciate, that you can just say how you feel.
That also have to go with the decency too, right? You also have to think for how the others will react. So people always just talk about, freedom of speech. I can say whatever I want, but then also just you have to have the decency to care for other people, to how other people to feel. And if there's anything happens with what you said, you also have to take a responsibility too. A lot of people forget there's responsibility that comes with the freedom of speech.
So I think a lot of people forget that there is an actual person on the other side of the screen that also could potentially look at that comment that you make.
So as you succeed on your channels on YouTube and you get more eyes and attentions to your channel and your brand, and that's when you becomes the target of any negative attacks, right? For us, all of a sudden we became famous. Our channel was fairly new, but then all of a sudden we started gaining views and the subscriber counts, and quickly we became the target of those eyes. And we were nervous. Even from the beginning, we wanted to fly under the radar because we just wanted to have fun creating content on our channel, and doesn't matter what ranking will be placed at. And I think the one game changer was when Forbes first listed our channel on their top Forbes list. What place were we?
I don't even remember, like number 7 or number 8. I remember when I first saw it, I was really, maybe other content creator would have been happy, but for us, we didn't like the attention. So I was really scared and nervous, and I didn't know how to react. I was stressing out because all of a sudden, right, we were flooded with emails from the media. There were moments where like some media just showed up at our house, wanting an interview, and we were
it was super early in the morning too. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I was scared. I was just like, after I shut the door, I told him that I cannot talk. They just stay there for a while, and we have to hurry up and take the kids to school, and we were nervous if those people show up at school too. And that's something we never experienced before. We encounter fans multiple times before, but not those reporters, and they seem more intrusive than our fans. So that was scary.
Right. They even, one point in the future, this is future episode, but they even stalk us outside of the office and take pictures, and it just wasn't something that we were expected. And I guess it does come with a territory.
Yeah, because I was just going inside my car and somebody paparazzi me going inside the car. I had no idea somebody was taking a picture of me at that time. It's super crazy how they could be sneaky and stealthy and take a picture of you. And after a few years, we became somewhat number 1 in our own kids category. And that really drove a huge attention to our channel. Not only because we were number 1, but then we became a representation of the kids content industry itself on YouTube. So anything goes wrong with just YouTube kids content, we're gonna be the front line always, whether we want it or not.
Right.
And it's not something we signed up for it, right?
No, it's not something that we even want. There were a lot of times before when our channel keep rising and rising, I was, thinking, gosh, I really wish another channel would just take over the spot, because this is not the attention that we want or hope for. Because like Sean said, anything that goes wrong, it's really on us. Anytime there is anything negative out there as another creator have done or anything like that, they always reference us.
It would be a bigger headlines if you have Ryan's World in the title, right? So that's why a lot of news media would put our names in there, even though a lot of times it has nothing to do with us.
Right.
But we have to live with it, right? That's something that we have to manage as we maintain this our operation. But to us at first, it was really hard to manage. One, because what you see is just a lot of attacks on not just ourselves, but sometimes our kids. And as a parent, it's hard to see that.
Yeah, so it's something to keep in mind if you ever want to start a YouTube channel with or without kids. Like you will get some backlash, and you will just have to hopefully be prepared for it, because we were not prepared for it.
Yeah, that's something we regret even now, that we should have started our channel with a media strategy already
in mind.
In mind, and it's something that we learned over time. But for those of you starting the channel now, I think it's a great thing for you guys just start thinking about how you guys should protect yourself from any medias. That's really important, and it's always better to prepare first than react to what happened afterwards. So it's always just better to over prepare.
All right, so back to the topic, but because we've gotten so big within a short amount of time, there was this article that came out that said something like this 5-year-old will pass up PewDiePie. I remember seeing it first, and I think I just laughed because I was like, there's no way, you know? First of all, kids content creator does not get as much subscribers as adult content creators because kids can't subscribe. You know, can't read. They don't even know where the button is at.
There are a lot of imbalance on the type of the activities the viewers have, depending on their demographic, right? So for one unique component of the kids viewer is a replay value, right? So they continue watching similar content, same content over and over versus the grown-ups. So just naturally, kids content have more viewership than the adult content. Doesn't necessarily mean it's more popular than the grown-up content. So there are some misconceptions that people evaluating the size of scale of a brand of the YouTube channel based on the viewership, which is completely wrong. But at that time, that was the only metric people had. So through that, people were saying that, you know, we are overthrowing the biggest YouTuber of that time, and that kind of created the whole controversy.
Yeah, and so anyway, I didn't think anything of it, and you know, until one day I remember waking up, and for some reason I was looking at our channel. It was flooded with negative comments, so many thumbs down, and I remember I was asking Sean, what is going on? I don't understand what these comments are meaning, because it's not coming from our, you know, kids as viewers. Because if you guys have kids, you know, a lot of them can't, at least our fan base during that time, can't type. And so a lot of comments are just like jibber jabber. They accidentally press random key buttons. So for us to receive actual written word texts, you know, that are so negative, I have no idea where it came from.
Yeah, and I thought maybe it's just me in the video or something. Maybe did I do something wrong? So we watched every minute of the video, and we didn't find anything wrong with it. And we searched it up on the YouTube just to see what's going on. And then there was the video from PewDiePie talking about our content and our channel, and that was the kind of source of where this started.
So he was reacting first to the article that was talking about how, you know, this 5-year-old would one day surpass him, and then he reacted to one of our video. So I don't know if he was just making the video as like a pure joke or an entertainment point of view, because that's his style. And you know, Sean and I used to watch PewDiePie a lot in the younger days.
PewDiePie. Okay, sorry, I had to stop.
So just to see that somebody that you used to watch and admire.
Yeah, I was so sad because, you know, I was so connected with PewDiePie because he loves anime and comic books, right? And there are a lot of things that his taste of comic book resonate with mine too. So I was like, yeah, he knows stuff. He knows the Japanese anime. He's got a good taste of it. So I was really gravitating toward his sense of humor and the style of the video too. But then this happened, so it was even more hurtful that because we liked him, and then that's something we saw.
Right.
I don't think he noticed that we all are in the same age, right? I think he's like 1 year younger, older than me. Yeah. And so I just almost feel like, hey, buddy, what's going on? And then I think he sees us as more like a one generation up, like our parents.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I'm older than Sean, but yeah. And then also, you know, the fact that he and at that time his girlfriend loves to go to Japan all the time really resonate with us. You know, but disclaimer, I still watch some of his content. I love when he does book reviews. I really enjoy hearing about what other type of books are out there that, you know, that maybe I would be interested too. And I love reading. It's just I don't have as much time to read. So the fact that I'm like going online to see what other people think of the book really helped and saved my time. But anyway, back to topic. Having noticed that he made a video on us and is flooded with these negative comments, I think the initial reaction was shock. Then I wanted to cry.
Yeah, because one, there's nothing we could do about it. Yeah. So we create kids content, so there's no really way for us to respond to it, right? We thought it's not appropriate for us to make a video in a response to his video on our channel. It's not something we want to bring in our fan base into the mix. You know, it's not something we want them to be exposed to. So we're stuck in this position where we can't really even defend ourselves. We don't have any Twitter account, no Instagram back then. You know, our name was still Ryan Toys Review, which grammatically wrong. So, we didn't really have any credibility to connect with anybody. We had no connection with the media outlet either. So, yeah, so we were just kind of stuck.
Yeah, so as we were saying, we're not sure if he was making that video as a joke or on purpose or really genuinely concerned or he just wanted to react to it.
What were the things that he was talking about in the video?
Well, that video was so long ago, but based on my memory, it's still ingrained in my head, but based on my memory, he was criticizing that we're view botting. That was a big deal, I think. But let me put a disclaimer. It's not just him. The fact that we grew so fast within a short amount of time, even within our own kid space, kids and family space, there were people that was, saying that we view botted, because how can a channel that comes from nothing, right, and gain so many views and subscribers so fast? They haven't seen this kind of growth from the kids and family space before. But now if you look, there's so many other channels out there, in the kids and family space, that surpass our views, way surpass our subscribers, and no one says anything or saying that they view bot. But during that time, it wasn't a normal thing.
Yeah, and always the newcomers always just come to the surface even quicker and quicker each time. So, those newer kids YouTubers that's newer than Ryan, but then become already a lot bigger than our channel.
Right.
Even grew even faster than us. So that's always just the nature of the how the new channel emerges. It's always just quicker growth rate than as their channel is newer.
That was one. And number two, he was saying that his proof that we view botted, was that if you look at the comments, they're all random jibber jabber, probably made by some sort of algorithm or some sort of, bot generator. And, I have to say that in the beginning, when our channel exploded, I've seen so many of those random comments, that are just keyboard punching in. And we thought we were being view botted for real.
Yeah, so my first thought was, hold on. It's got to mean something. I thought there's hidden message or code. So I was trying to crack that code. Maybe there's a hacker sending us a message from a space. I don't know. But I was trying to crack that code, and I just didn't see any patterns. But one day we saw Ryan watching another kids channel, and then he just randomly typing stuff on his iPad and leaving the comment accidentally. And that's when we find out many other kids are doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, even one time too, he had accidentally shared a video to my Facebook. I think he just randomly pressed button and it just shared to my Facebook with the comment of the jibber jabber. And so, after that, we kind of just connected the dot, like we realized, oh, but we didn't know that before. And I think the fact that PewDiePie's audience, are not 3 to 5 years old, he have no idea. He actually get to have comments, right? Like real interactive paragraph comments that we don't have.
And that's when a lot of people notice, before, those kids channel emerged, it was just only certain type of group of demos on the YouTube, right? So you see the same patterns of like to dislike ratio on the popular videos, view versus comment numbers. It's all similar patterns because it's all same demographic, same type of content geared toward the same demographic. And now it's YouTube expanded on their wide reach, not just a few countries, but now it's multiple all around the world and also different ages too. So their view patterns and the engagement patterns is all different now, just depending on the audience. So that's something people haven't noticed at that time, and that's probably led to the misconception of us view botting. And it's crazy to me because just in case you don't know, you can if you pay money to increase the viewership, it doesn't really do anything to you, right? But then YouTube on itself, you can put your video as an ad to the other people's video. That's something people can do, and that's totally okay with the guideline of YouTube. And to me, that makes sense. You're promoting your video in exchange of the fee versus you view botting, just empty views that somebody just keep clicking on it. It's just waste of money. I'm just surprised people thought that's something reasonable to do.
I don't know. Some people might do that, but I'm telling you that we did not do that during that time. I wouldn't even know how to go about it. No, but I remember, sorry, interrupt. I remember I saw a comment that was like, Sean is an engineer. So he must know a way to ViewBot.
Oh, yeah.
Your civil engineering degree.
So it's I design buildings, so maybe there's some type of connection between me and algorithm. I mean, I did study system engineering back in the graduate school, so sure, I know some basics about algorithm, but no, I don't know the secret mix of the cracked code, so no.
And then another thing that he had said that we have done was that the video that he reacted to, he thought it was like a sponsored video. Because during that time, Hatchimals were really popular. I don't know if you guys heard of Hatchimals, but it was a big thing 5 years ago. And, everybody was trying to get their own Hatchimals. Now, there's different version of the Hatchimals, right? They have like a Target version, a Walmart version. And so, we wanted to see what was the difference between a regular version and a Walmart version or a Target version. So we bought it.
We bought it on our own money. And then, one thing about Japanese people, when the people say it's limited to certain location, limited to certain store, we buy it. We're just in nature, we're collectors. So that, we kind of lined up, or we went to the different stores just find those products. And that's how we reviewed the video. And he thought it was somehow sponsored. When there's a sponsored video, we actually disclose at the beginning of the video on every single video we were sponsored. So there's clear distinction between sponsored video versus non-sponsored video in our channel. So we were surprised that somebody was claiming that video was sponsored.
And then another thing was, he had mentioned that Ryan would never received any of this money, that the money goes to us. Again, that is not true. The majority of the money will go to Ryan. We have multiple different accounts for him set up, and Emma and Kate's too.
And a lot of the reason why we don't really go up in the front and talk about this until a few years later was because it was, to me, how is it benefiting Ryan for us to publicly talk about his financial situation? It's just better just keep it undisclosed, and so he is protected. His privacy is protected. His financial situation is also a part of his privacy too. So that's something we always wanted to make sure we keep it private. But now the attention more, and that's something that a lot of people see it. We started talking more about it. And at one point, we thought maybe it's might be a better idea to explain how we securing his financial situation to other people, because there are many other family creators who just started and don't know how to manage a financial component of these revenues for kids. So we started talking more and more in detail now. But yeah, back then, it was really difficult for us to be blamed on something that we never done before.
Yeah, especially when we don't really have an outlet to say, or comment back on what he's saying. And again, he has the right to say what he wants, and whether he was making a video as a joke or he was genuinely concerned. But I guess it kind of bothered us in the way that because he made a video about us, there was no way for us to say anything back. So back to what we were saying, during that time, it was something we would never see it coming, having the biggest creator on the platform, right? Somebody that represents YouTube, talk about us, made a video about us. And I never thought that we would cross paths because we don't share the same type of content or the same audience. And also during that time, it was, people would say like the perfect storm, because during that time, I never revealed this before. Again, I'm not saying that, it's his fault or is anybody's fault, right? He's allowed to make whatever videos he wants. But I was just saying for how we felt during that time was, and again, I never shared this before. After Emma and Kate, I was actually pregnant again. And I've never said that out loud because I was afraid, of what did eventually happen was I did get a miscarriage. And it was just like the bad timing because it happened within the same few days.
Right. We're not saying that was connected with what happened, but just imagine somebody was going through the miscarriage, and in addition to that, this happens on top of that. Was devastating. It was really hard for us. We were already trying to put our head around on the miscarriage, but then this happened, so it was just too much for us to handle. So emotionally, we were dreaded, just how to do, what to go with. And so I talked to my friend Mike from Semaphore. He is actually doing the accounting for our company. And, I reached out to him, hey, what should I do? We have no way of explaining about our point of view. Do you have any suggestion? And he actually introduced us to Phil Defranco. And he suggested maybe we should just go up on his interview and talk to him. And at first we didn't want to say yes because we never done interview before. That was one of the first one we ever done. That was
probably the first interview. We did one with tube filler, but that was over the phone, so it wasn't as nerve-wracking to know that it was film, live, right? Like if I make a mistake, or what if I, because I stutter a lot, because if I'm talking to little kids, or, I was a high school teacher and I'm talking to a teenager, I have no problem expressing how I feel or explain to them concepts. But for some reason, when I'm talking to anybody that's my age or anybody that I consider an adult, I just freeze up and get really nervous. So that was a really hard time for us. And plus, eventually we thought it was the right thing to do, because the fact that video is out there. And even, if we don't say how we feel when new viewers even watches his content, I just didn't want it to be like them being misinformed, because it eventually will affect Ryan.
Yeah, it also creates a stigma too, right? And I didn't want this to be the image of the kids creator in general at that time. There are great contents among the kids content industry at that time. Even back then too, there are a lot of educational contents, there are a lot of enriching contents back then. But that video from him kind of casted a little bit of shadow. So we wanted to go out there and wanted to speak our point of view. And, just so we can inform the viewers and people out there that what's really happening behind the scene.
Right. And, Ryan's growing up. Right now, he's 10. Eventually, he will probably watch PewDiepie, because he loves...
Not anytime soon.
Because Ryan loves watching YouTube videos that has to do with gaming. He's starting to play more Minecraft, and he's watching other content creators play Minecraft. And so eventually, he might get there, and he might see that video. And, I want him to know that what he sees is not 100% true. So we did want an outlet to just express our point of view.
Yeah, we don't want Ryan to think our approach always on every time those kind of incident happens, we just back out and just not do any actions. We want him to know we defend ourselves, especially when one of our family members is under attack, then we do whatever it takes to protect them. So we wanted to show that part to Ryan, and we didn't want to give up on anything just because somebody, people around you is criticizing and accusing you for something you never done before. We want to go out to the interview and then just talk about our point of view. So yeah, it was something that we normally say no, but we flew all the way to LA. Again, thanks for that video, PewDiepie. Because of that, I flew all the way. We all flew all the way to LA just to do the interview. A week after the video was published, and then we're trying to solve the issue.
Phil Defranco and his family, his wife Lindsay, and their son at the time Trey, they were all really nice. They knew how nervous we were. Phil was saying, hey, how about before the interview we should go to lunch together, so that way we would just calm our nerve down and get to know them a little bit more before we did the interview, and hopefully that will help us.
And we were also extra nervous because we watch Phil Defranco all the time.
I watch him every day, like religiously. Phil, if you ever watch this video, just so you know, I love your content. I still watch your video every single day. Not because you did the interview for us. Besides that, like even before, I watched your video every single day. And I know the days that you don't post, which, you know, you have the right not to post because you should get a day off, you know. But on Friday, you know, you stop posting. I get really sad.
But you know, we loved it. We loved going to his studio too, and it gave me more ideas how we want to approach our business too. Because he was such a successful YouTuber. Even years ago, he had his big team. Like when I went to his studio, there were 30, 40 of his team working on his content, and it was really eye-opening to me. Until then, I really didn't know what's the operation of the YouTubers once you go big. But that really gave me a huge insight on where we want to be.
Yeah, it was very inspirational. Thank you for that. Which brings us to this video after 40 minutes of talk. Is that after the interview came out, you know, Phil was like, okay, well, I'm going to post that on a Friday. I got really nervous because I have no idea if we did well or not well. So I remember we came home and Mike from Semaphore was saying, you know, you guys did great. You know, you should watch on Friday. You know, Phil says it's going to be out on Friday. And guess what?
We did not watch it.
We did not.
And still, we have not watched it.
Till this day, 5 years later, I'm so sorry, Phil. I have not watched the video because, you know, we were really nervous, you know. I hate seeing myself on camera in that setting. I'm just not used to it. You know, and then a lot of other people that we met along the way had said, hey, I saw your, you know, Phil Defranco interview, or this is how, you know, we got to know a little bit more about you. And I don't know about you, but I always go, oh yeah, because I've never watched it, so I don't know how to react.
Yeah, but you know what I noticed was a lot of times it's a positive feedback. You know, a lot of people that I come across with either creators or the fans of Phil, they're also positive to us, and I'm glad we did the interview because I think they got to know us and know the background of us and where we come from, so they feel more connected. And you know that was such a great feeling that we have some supporters. We just didn't really get to connect with the fans that are, you know, kids, viewers, you know, in daily base. But, you know, through the Phil's interview, we felt like some people are supporting us. So in this episode, I think we're ready. It's been 5 years. I think we could watch the video only with you guys.
Yes.
And full disclosure, we may just stop in the middle. If we can't take it in the middle, we'll just stop it. I don't care what goes wrong with this episode, but I just we'll
yeah. So I've saved this video for years now. Okay, finally going to open it and watch it. Ooh. Are you ready?
Not really. Now I can say, hey, you know what? That 5 years ago we did the interview. I watched it.
It's never too late. You know, even before today, I didn't think we'll ever watch it. You know, I thought we're going to take this to our grave and just like never open it.
And it's not just Phil. It's the any interviews. We don't watch it.
Okay, sorry. Side story before I watched the video. So recently we had done a Kelly Clarkson interview. Thank you so much, Kelly Clarkson. We love you. I watch your video. I listen to your music all the time. And knowing that she's interviewing us, it was just like even nerve-wracking itself, you know, noticing that I was like, oh my God, one of my favorite singers is actually talking to me personally. And during that moment, she had asked me a question. And because she had said, Loanne, you know, as a parent or something along that line, or she might have said as a mom, something like that, but she was, you know,
as a teacher.
Asking.
You only forgot.
See what I mean?
She asked as a teacher.
I was so nervous. That
what do you think of this topic?
Exactly. She was talking to me. And so in my mind, I was like, you got to listen to what she's saying. You know, you got to focus because you have to have an answer, you know? And at that time,
I was nervous too because I sensed the Loanne zoned out a little bit. So I was like, Loanne, dude, you got to pull together. She's talking to you.
And during that time, remember Sean told me later that there were like 4 different camera angles just zooming in on me.
Yeah, so the producer, I think, was expecting something meaningful come out from Loanne. So there was lots of kind of build up from the behind us camera angle and the wide shot and the audience shot, boom, 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 and then Loanne finally saying something, and then she said, Yep.
That's all I said. I said, yeah. And then she's like, okay then. And then she just moved on.
And it wasn't yes, no questions.
Yeah. And so when that interview came out, I was like, I can't watch it. I can't watch it. This is going to haunt me forever.
But then you always just only remember just that part. But everything else came out great. So I think even that part was okay too.
I'm sorry, Kelly. I still have not watched the interview. It's still haunting me. I think I'm going to need another 5 years before I can actually watch it.
Yeah. I think another 5 years. Like 5 years later, we could watch it together on this channel, and then we can react together.
Okay. So as Phil always say, let's just jump into it. Y'all ready for this?
What's up, you beautiful people? I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different. We had a great opportunity because there's been a lot of talk about the biggest people on YouTube right now. Who is it? What do they do? What's legitimate? What is not? There have been a lot of people talking about a lot of stuff. And so today, I'm very excited. We have the family behind Ryan Toys Review. Hello.
Hey.
Oh, Ryan's so small.
So I think this is the first time you guys, I mean, have your names ever been out?
No, we never mentioned before.
No.
Anyway, and who are you guys?
Oh, I'm Sean, Ryan's dad.
And I'm Loanne, Ryan's mom.
That's awesome. And how long have you been making videos?
About 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Since March of 2015.
So what's your guys' background? Who are you? Where are you coming from? Because I think a lot of people, they know Ryan, whether it be because they actually watch him or now because PewDiepie has talked about him. A lot of the outlets have talked about him.
I'm ready to stop at any moment.
So for me,
My finger's right there.
How did you guys get started?
well, we started out because Ryan watched the other people's YouTube channels,
Other
kids channels, and he said he wanted to try out on his own too.
Oh, so it was Ryan's idea?
Yeah. Back then we didn't even know you can make money off from it.
Right.
So we're just doing that just as a little summer project because she had the summer off.
Oh, it was a spring break.
Ryan, how bored are you right now? Are you very bored or not bored?
Super bored.
Very bored. He's very bored.
You know what? I appreciate your honesty. Just hold on to that. If you're
Sorry,
gonna be a YouTuber, please
so you
hold
thought
on
we
to
said it's very bored.
So there's a bunch of questions that are going to be even more boring for Ryan.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
But I was thinking we could keep asking, and I don't know if you want to go play with Trey.
You want to go play with Trey?
Yeah. He's going to be way more fun than me.
Hi, Ryan.
It's so nice of Phil just suggesting that.
I got this.
Oh.
I got the mix.
All right, so now that we have little man out of the room, right? So one of the big reasons why we're talking right now is obviously you've been thrust into the spotlight even more because people are saying that you view bot.
Have you ever seen a video with 11 million views and 9,000 likes? Please direct me to that video because it doesn't exist. These are not real people. These are not real views.
What do you say to that?
I think a lot of people is saying that they don't have the kids. It's just when kids watch our channel or our videos, they just only watch it, and a lot of times they watch it from YouTube
Come
Kids
on,
app.
Sean. Look
They
at
don't
Phil
have
when you
the
talk.
ability to like or subscribe or comment.
That's not rude.
engagement.
Yeah, no engagement
Oh,
whatsoever. So
look at Phil
that's like
when you talk.
30% of our view traffic
Right.
in the United States. So that's the one reason. Another reason, just kids can't comment.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you were really. I want to point this out that it's not just them saying it. They logged into their account and I saw their real analytics, and usually what you would see. And do we have the clear to show where people are watching?
Yeah,
from?
so we really did. He had a laptop there, and we actually log into our account on his laptop.
Yeah, it was great. Just kind of talk about just up to this point. We felt a little bit more comfortable now because the Phil is also the father, right? You saw Trey there, and he understands where we come from too. So just like right away, he suggested maybe Ryan could just hang out with the Trey instead during the interview. It's such a nice gesture, but I think it's because he's also father too, so he understands.
All right, so let's check out our analytics.
All right.
It's 50% from the United States, and you have the United Kingdom, you have the Philippines, which is like, do we want to address?
Oh, because a lot of people thinks that he's Filipino, so.
But he's not.
But he's not.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So next month you're gonna see that drop.
Yes.
You're gonna be like, well, never mind.
Even the Filipino news TV show reach out to us. Hey, can we feature Ryan as the most famous Filipino kid actor? And we have to respond. I'm sorry, actually, he's half Vietnamese, half Japanese.
Sorry about that. I think it's the fact that it's a mixture of us and, my dad's side of the family. Some of us are, our skin color is pretty dark, and you can see that I'm like that too. It's just a mixture of that. And I guess that's what Ryan came out to look like. He just happened to look Filipino. And even growing up too, actually a lot of people thought that I was either Hispanic or Filipino growing up.
Maybe Hispanic? Wow.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
There were moments, in my childhood that I guess I have looked like, that I came from Mexico, I guess.
Lauren get tan easily. Like, if we go outside for just like 1 hour, she's like dark next day.
Yeah, I go outside one day and my skin color changes, and it's good for, the next year. It takes me a year to get back to, my natural skin color. I don't even know what it is because I go outside so often, so...
And I think not just a Filipino, but there are a lot of people thought Ryan was Indian also.
Right, yeah.
Okay, let's keep going. So far, it's good. I think we can continue so far.
How do you handle sponsorships? There was a specific claim by Felix in that video where he said...
They're sponsored by Walmart. It's 100%, it's so clear. Like, watch this video where they're like, we got an exclusive Walmart egg.
And we even found a Walmart exclusive version too.
Ooh, why would any kid give a about that? Explain that to me.
Are you saying that video is not sponsored?
It's
That
not
video was
sponsored.
not sponsored.
Okay.
And so my husband just happened to buy an exclusive Hatchimal from Walmart. And so I was just really curious to see what's the difference between the Walmart Hatchimal versus the regular Hatchimal. So that's why I mentioned it.
Right.
We always get the alert from people because every time we go to Toys R Us,
Right.
we have a full cart of the toys.
Well, so that was also the question, because you're getting all these toys. What are you doing with them?
A lot of times we send it to her family in Vietnam. Sometimes,
Okay.
sometimes we bring it to the Goodwill. So that way we don't overfill our house with the
Well, I was
toys.
going to wonder where the heck
Yeah.
you'd put
Yeah.
it.
Right. So a lot of times we try to donate to the charity.
So one thing I do want to point out, we, in the past, I don't know about anymore because we don't have comments on Ryan's World channel, but in the past we have received some negative comments about why are you donating to Goodwill? And, you can donate to wherever you want, but for us, here is why we do it. Number one, when we didn't have much money, right? When we had Ryan, I had to depend on Goodwill to get, cheaper, affordable toys or, product just for ourselves. And so for us to donate to Goodwill, I was hoping that, other people in our situation that we used to be able to afford it. And yes, I could have donated to other places like Ronald McDonald's house. I've done that before. But the problem with other donation places when we were looking into it is that for a sanitary reason, they prefer new toys.
Right. So, and also there are other places that we have made a donation to, in addition to the Goodwill. But that's something that we learn and make connection as we continue on the YouTube. So at the beginning, we just started out with Goodwill because that's all we knew. But now we have other sources where we make a donation. But one thing it was surprising to me, kind of going back to the segment where the PewDiepie was just talking about our analytics and video, it's so definitive. Like he said, he's so confident. Like, oh yeah, this is definitely this. He's so assertive. He's talking about, oh yeah, this is definitely rebounding because you're not gonna have this many likes when you have this many views. You should have a lot more likes. Just that overconfident really kind of portrayed or kind of led him to misunderstanding.
Right, but it's probably because he doesn't have the same analytics as we do,
Well,
right?
but then you cannot assume that's everything out there, right? You have to always assume there are a lot of components that you don't understand just yet or you don't know yet, but it's out there, and you have to take those into account. It's not always just everything you know is everything out there.
Yeah, because if he would have looked at other channels, I'll have it here. If he started looking at other channels within the kid space, he would notice the same type of likes to dislike ratios too. So any channel that's catering towards little kid, between 0 to 5 years old, would have the same type of behavior of likes and dislikes, the random comments, the not much comments to begin with.
All right, let's go. Keep going.
And when dealing with like these videos, are there ever videos where he doesn't want to film?
It's something off about it. It's kind of like seeing child stars on television, because like their parents are literally forcing them to do it, and it's just something sad about it. And I can't help but getting the same vibe. Obviously I don't know what goes on, but I watch it and I'm like, ugh.
If he doesn't want to film, that's where we stop usually. So
Right.
we don't even upload.
But I usually just ask him though. So I usually give him choices.
Right.
Like today, do you want to play with this tour? You want to do a skit? So I give him, choices on what he wants to do. And if he doesn't want to do it that day, then we just don't do it.
Right. And sometimes we use it as like I guess a bonus. Or if you listen and if you be a good boy, we can do the video today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually a motivation.
Yeah.
So that is, true. So Ryan, especially with Emma and Kate too, they actually really make videos with us because we try anyway to make it really fun for them. So a lot of time even till now, we always say like, hey, if you want to film today, then you need to do this and that. And a lot of times they would ask us to film even more than we want to film. Like a lot of times Ryan is so into gaming right now that he wants to film gaming all the time.
Yeah, so usually how we approach it is, hey, we have to set the limit how many hours to film each week, because otherwise, if we don't put that, then kids want to film a lot longer than they're supposed to. So we start putting 3 to 4 hours of the filming time, even from the beginning when we started the channel, because of the just Ryan wants to film so much.
On the note of his money, and I keep trying to reference back to Felix's video, which is I think the main source. He says,
are we celebrating this? Are we celebrating the fact that this mother is like, you think he's getting any money of this?
Right. We're doing a few things. One is the college fund, which is the 529. We're putting aside the money, and all my 3 kids have a saving account, so we put aside the money. But the most thing is the trust fund.
mm-hmm.
We right now just talking with the trust attorney, trying to set up the trust account that create the condition how they receive the money.
Mm-hmm.
So we setting up the condition. He received a certain amount of money when he's 22, but he had to be working full time, so he won't be sitting in the couch and not doing anything.
Right, we don't want to spoil him at the same time.
Right, so the important thing was about the trust account, because we can set up the condition how they receive it and what purpose. So you can divide how much they could use their money for, depending on what purposes. And I thought it's important because a lot of times when you're younger, you probably use money not responsibly, right? Especially, for example, the Kugan account, you receive the entire portion of the Kugan account when you're 18. And, to me, 18 is still a child to me. There are a lot of ways that it would waste the money and then just use them all. So we wanted to avoid it as much as possible. So we set up the trust account so he can just use the money responsibly and in a reasonable amount too. So he can continue using the reasonable amount throughout the long term, and eventually he can start using those funds for his future families too. So that's something we set up, and it took a little bit, because it's a very, very important account setup. And
Yeah, we want to make sure that we set it up right.
so we spent a time, but then it's set for the kids, 3 kids, and so that's something that we discuss it in an interview.
Does it ever make sense for him growing up to expand past it?
I think it's just up to him.
Right.
Yeah. And if he wants to be an artist and leave the YouTube, that's fine. Or he wants to be a musician, that's fine. It's just one phase of his life, and I want him to be able to feel and experience the next step.
We still stand by that. We always tell Ryan that YouTube is just like a small component of your life. We always live by the motto, YouTube revolves around our life and not the other way around. And we always encourage him to try out different things, because there's way more career opportunity choices than just YouTube. Whether it makes you a lot of money or not, I want him to know that those options are out there, as long as he's happy. So that's why we put him in so many extracurricular activities after school, because we want him to be exposed. to those activities.
Right now, it's really important phase of his life that he's meeting new friends and belonging into new community and experiencing new life. And that's something that we want to make sure we secure for him. And in the future, if he wants to come back to YouTube, he can always come back to YouTube if that's something he wants to do. But first, he should try all the other things first. That way he knows for sure that it's something that he wants to go back to. Right now, he wants to be a comedian and the game developer.
Right, or a gamer. But, you know, the fact that we have all this money saved for him, he has a choice, right? Like, he doesn't have to stick with something just for the money aspect. So, you know, as a parent, like, we feel really relieved that he's able to just be able to do something that he's happy with. And I know not everybody get that choice. So the fact that we are securing his future, you know, we're not encouraging like go this route because it makes more money. You know, just go the route that makes you happy is what we want for him.
Yeah. And, you know, we don't want YouTube to be the restriction for him and his future. So, and, you know, he learned a lot through doing the YouTube and public speaking, just the confidence that he built up through these years. So I think it's done tremendous things to Ryan. And I'm glad we started the YouTube. Yeah, but let's continue on. I think we're doing okay. I guess it's not as bad as we thought. It's okay. It's okay, Lo and Sean. It's only just a moment of the time.
I think kind of the last thing that I want to ask, because we've bounced around criticisms, we've talked about accusations. Since you can't really do it on your account, if there is something you could say to anyone that's criticizing you, whether it be any of the media outlets, Felix, anything like that, is there anything that you would want to say?
When I watch other people attacking my wife, it's hard for me to watch as a husband, because you know we had some tough time as I guess family when we had Ryan. I was only 23, and both of us are young, and she was trying to start teaching, and I was still in graduate school in New York, and I wasn't even there when she was giving birth to Ryan. So to me, just saying other people that she's not a good mother, it just breaks my heart, because to me she's the best mother I think out there, or as much as all the other great mother there. So yeah, it's just a little tough for me to see some of the comments.
Like that. And anything that you would want to say?
No,
I don't know. It's fine. It's fine if you have everything. I mean, that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
I said no because I was so nervous. You see what I mean? You see what I mean? Just like the Kelly Clarkson thing when they asked you.
I think good thing, like Luann's good thing about Luann is when she's nervous or when she feels like she's gonna say something wrong, she stops herself. That's a good thing.
Is it? Have you seen it?
You have a sense like a way you should stop yourself, because you probably felt like not confident, like whatever you come out at that moment, it might not be beneficial, or I don't know, but you know, just maybe not something that you didn't want to say, so maybe you kind of hold it on to yourself. And it takes a lot of energy and just say no.
I kind of blocked out the fact that I said no. Now, besides the Kelly Clarkson interview, now this will haunt me too. That I was given this great moment by Phil to say, you know, something to everybody how I feel, and my answer was no. Can you imagine?
But that's better than just not responding. It's but it was a lot, right? It just, you know, I feel like at that time Lauren was still going through the miscarriage, which we didn't really explain too much on the interview. Or we probably didn't even mention it.
I don't remember.
Yeah, and it's funny how we at that time I don't think we started the company, right?
No.
So when we did the interview, we're already nervous because we're not really used to being filmed surrounded by this many people. So, you know, I can see that Lauren was nervous. I can see that I was nervous. I was stuttering the whole time.
There were multiple cameras, I believe. And, you know, there was, like, people clapping, like, people. I think we even had to use a mic, you know, and I was like, what is this?
First time in my whole life. I was like, whoa, what are you doing? Why are you touching my body? Yeah, they were just putting the mic. And, yeah, I had no idea why they're clapping. It just scares me. All of a sudden, they just do a huge clap. But that's how you sync the mic and the audio, which I had no idea first. But yeah, what do you think? We did it. We watched it through.
We did, but just looking at our facial expression there, we look really depressed. It looks like we look really nervous.
You look pissed off the whole time.
I think that's just my natural face that I look pissed off. I'm not pissed off at all. If anything, I was just really nervous.
Yeah, I was avoiding the eye contact with Phil. I can tell. I'm just looking at my hands the whole time instead of Phil. Looks like I'm looking at Phil this angle, but I can tell that I'm looking at the shelf next to Phil. It's like you can't look at the sun directly. It's just like he was like the sun. Like just too bright for me.
Are
And
you
he
ready?
was a lot taller in person.
Yes.
I was surprised. Every time he's sitting down in the video, so I thought he's kind of short. So I thought we were around the same height, but he was a lot taller. I don't know where I was gonna go with it.
You ready to continue?
Uh-huh. Oh, there's still more? Okay.
A lot of people ask us how we want to use the money. I always just feel like if I can go back on time, I would give myself money to fly back to the hospital to be with her when she was giving birth to Ryan, because she was doing all that by herself. And the first time I saw Ryan was after 2 months.
Right.
The whole time she was just doing everything by herself. So she's a fighter and she's a really good mom.
I'm glad my wife's not here anymore. Otherwise, she would be disgusted with me because you have so much love. But I mean, the good thing is, through all this success, now you get to focus on the experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, as like a longtime YouTuber, the criticisms will never stop.
Yeah, no.
But as long as I think that you guys are good with you, then you're gonna be great. I want to thank you guys for coming here and chatting, and I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here.
Yeah, of course.
Wow. So I'm impressed with Phil as
Yeah.
an MC, like a host, because we're really not talkative person. We're just more of a yes, no, question, answer type person at that moment. So
Yeah,
he kind of elaborate every time our short answer.
Right,
goes.
and I love how at the end he gave us an important message that we had wished we watched 5 years ago. And to this day, I think that is true. The criticism don't stop coming. Just because we made one video doesn't mean there's not more on the way. And there has been over the years more. But I did learn, because after the big controversy of PewDiepie, I took it really hard because, again, that was the first one, and people always say, like, you never forget the first one. But after that, I try not to let it affect us or let it affect me, because I know if it affects me, it might affect my family and my kids. So I really do live by that motto of what Phil says. As long as we're happy with ourselves, as long as we know that we're doing the right thing, and we just stick together.
Yeah, just to me, it was the first one, so we didn't know how to respond. But this really set the direction on ourselves as a family, how we should approach when we create the content, and also, we thought about maybe creating a team to support us too, because at that time everything we were doing on our own. So just our time management, and also just this kind of incident happens, it's always just hitting us even harder. So through this event, several things we learned is, one thing is we should always control the media, right? We should always stay on top of the media. Don't let them control you. You want to tell them your narrative, right? Because what's truth, what's the true about yourself and your family. So that's when we notice this is not, I can't always go to Phil because we don't have any other outlet. Every time there's something goes wrong with ourselves, I can't always ask Phil to help us. So that's when I started researching, hey, how should we protect ourselves? He helped us this time, but then I can't always ask him. So we hired the publicist a few years after this interview, and since then we were making sure everything that we tell our own narrative and not letting anybody else just say otherwise, about how we operate our YouTube channels and how we, what we do within the family. So that really, we kind of felt us, like made us feel more secure and protected.
we wish we started this podcast sooner so we can explain to you guys how we feel, because there's many other bumps along the way ever
But
since
this was the biggest speed bump.
Yeah.
But it brought us closer, right? And we also appreciated all the support around that time, all the messages, the positive messages sent to us during that time. So, yeah, I think I always say bad things always happens for a reason, and I'm glad that happened. Now we're here where we are. Maybe if that didn't happen, maybe we're not just here right now where we are. You never know. I wish it didn't happen. Thanks, PewDiepie. But it's not like we have any hard feeling to him anymore. It's just
we never did. I think it was just, again, I think it just affected us because he was saying all these things and we just have no outlet to express how we feel. And I think the biggest concern for us was I just didn't want Ryan to watch that video and think that what he's saying is true, because we didn't have an outlet to put our point of view out there.
Yeah, and I don't want him to think as a parents we're not really protecting him or not doing anything. So, we want to do what we can the best to protect him. And at that time, that was the idea that we came up with, was going in an interview and talk about our point of view. But yeah, I'm glad that came out okay. We were able to watch it. Thank you, Phil, for having us 5 years ago.
Thank you. If we never said it before, we're saying it now. Thank you. We finally watched it, and thank you guys for watching it with us. Because if it weren't for this video, I don't think we would have ever watched it.
There are actually a lot of videos from the past that we never watched before, but I thought maybe through some future episode we can watch it together again. Since we were able to do this, then maybe we can watch some other videos that we couldn't watch before.
This was the first step.
Yeah. We haven't even watched our wedding videos.
Oh gosh. I was so nerve-wracking at a wedding. There's lots of stories behind that. So yeah, so maybe next time in the future we can watch our wedding video together.
Wow, why did I even mention it?
So again, thank you, Phil, for letting us have a platform during that time that we didn't have one. And thank you guys for, being along in this journey. It has been rough at times, but here we still are. We still enjoy what we do together. So thank you.
Yeah, so what we learned from this is whenever you create content and criticizing other creators or people, you always should think about how that would affect that person. Those people would still watch your content and get a feeling. And also, your viewers would influenced by what you say too, and start attacking others just as a reaction to what you said on the video. So I think we should always think about how others would feel when you put the videos like that.
Yeah, but it's not like PewDiepie had told any of his viewers to come and leave hate on our channel or anything like that. It's just the fact that I think you just have a massive fan base. And when you have a massive fan base, whatever you say, some of them do take it to heart.
Yeah, and then if you have the fan base at that scale, you have a certain responsibility what those fans would do in a reaction to your videos. You also have to start thinking about it when you create the videos. So through this event, we learned that we should be more mindful and careful about creating content. And yeah, we're not perfect, but we always try our best to create the positive content and create a positive influence on the kids who watch our content.
Yeah, our goal is just, create fun, edutainment contents for kids to enjoy with their family. So next segment before we end is the sticky word of the day. I will let Sean take charge.
It's funny, we always participate in the video without thinking what the word is. So today's sticky word is future, right? Because we're talking about the future, bright future. The future in Japanese is mirai. Mirai.
Am I saying it right?
Mirai. It's hard in Japanese. There's no R or L.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of mixed together,
right.
Just the way we pronounce it. Mirai.
Mirai.
Yeah, that means future.
future. Okay, thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you in the future on our next episode of Stick with Kaji. Wow, let's do that again, guys.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. I'm calling out to. Okay, one more time.
Thank you for joining us in future episodes of
Stick with Kaji.
Next Saturday. Oh, and also I started becoming more confident a little bit now that it is the
Yeah, a lot more confident. Yeah.
4th, 5th, 6th episodes. So our videos now, well, not the video, our audio now is on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and we're trying to get more out there. But again, it's a learning curve for us. I didn't know that you have to like apply to each podcasting host services separately, so it might take a while, but I think those 2 are up if you want to just listen on your way to work or something like that, and if you don't want to see our faces, you know. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully you guys have a fantastic day, and see you next time.
Yeah, thank you for sticking with us. Bye.